Good evening and welcome back to the One Take Livecast. It's me, Jax, your host. I know it's been about a month since the last episode, but I've just been enjoying some time off and some holidays and everything. Some good news and bad news. Good news is we will be joined by Mr. J, and the bad news is we won't be joined by Paul due to some things coming up, and can't be helped. But still, good to be back on here. Good to have a guest returning, and good to do another episode. So let's just find. And wait for him to come on. But yeah, it's been pretty good. Been here, I've been there. Oh, there he is. Just wait for him. Just sent him the invite, but here we go. Request to join. Accept. Here we go. Try again. Thumbs. Right, just sorting this out. I'm pressing. There, here we go.
Oh, you all right?
Hey, Jay, how you doing?
Very good. How's the audio? Okay.
I see you're representing Mr. Munson as well.
Don't you? Oh, yeah.
Love that show.
Oh, mate, it's the best.
Yeah, I mean, it gets better every season, but I thought season 4 just really went for it.
4 was, to be honest, like just another level. Like storytelling, just the use of music, character.
Yeah,
Good.
I mean, and to introduce a character like Eddie Munson. I mean, we've had characters like in the previous season, Robin introduced, and then we had like Max introduced in season 2. But this Eddie Munson, that was basically a big impact.
Yeah, that's like as much as I'd like to have thought I was Eddie Munson in high school, I was probably more like
So was I.
the guys who wanted to be like Eddie. Yeah.
I mean, basically, we were all that kid that probably liked a particular music, loved playing a particular board game or reading something, and then some bully comes across you and snatches out your hand and then throws it on the floor and stamps on it, and then obviously you would probably fight back or just take it on the chin. But yeah, I mean, it's such a relatable character.
I totally. I had my first year in secondary school. Like I made friends with that kind of crew. So the guys that were just about ready to leave school, and they were all guitar players, like just like trying to get me into different bands and just in their little clique. And it pretty much was like, whoa, that was a nostalgic hit to the to the film.
Yeah,
Like Eddie, like it was awesome.
yeah, and it's whatsoever. Even though the series is kind of fictional and everything, it's a very realistic, relatable character. I mean, he's not a superhero. He's not a monster. He's not it's a very realistic character.
Yeah, he's just that flawed kind of. I suppose he kind of messes up the whole way through until he's
Yeah,
puppet.
yeah. Plus, in previous seasons, the representation of the metalhead, because we had what's that character? Billy. You know,
Although I did.
but
Well, he was bad, but I did like Billy.
I mean, Billy was okay, but he was an ass. And then when
Oh yeah,
Eddie comes around, it's like, oh, well, this character I like.
nice guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
drug dealer, nice guy, but a nice guy.
we all need. Sometimes you need magic salad.
But no, he was also the guy who played him. I think he's such a good actor.
Yeah, and he's so different in real life, hearing him with his English accent and, in interviews, he's so calm and subtle and everything. And then he got to meet Metallica, which was pretty cool.
I think I'd have just died there and then.
Yeah,
With
I, I would have as well. And now look at it, it's become such a, and, I play D&D. I've worn my Hellfire Club top and this while going to play D&D with friends. So it's nice to actually, you know, um, represent the real life Hellfire Club in a way.
Yeah, I kind of got like that's how the school thing was. Just there was a few guys that played it. I was more interested in painting the little kind of Warcrafty stuff, but D&D, I just kind of would watch from afar, like what the hell is this business going on as a little kid. So I just kind of observed that culture, even then, not being really part of it. But now it's just this like it's a thing on its own now. Isn't it? When you look at this, the impact of something like Stranger Things, where you've got
Hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of in and out with it because obviously I was introduced to it via the cartoon,
yeah, yeah, remember that.
and then great cartoon, and then I found out it was a board game. Unfortunately, it was more bigger in the States than over here, so couldn't and I was a bit too young to go to like shops with I don't think my kind of didn't want to be playing with strangers,
Yeah,
adults, grown adult strangers. And then I haven't really played it properly now. Till for me, playing D&D now is like when you take up golf at an older age.
yeah, I play a bit of golf.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, you've not really fussed on it, is it? And then you realize, oh, so that's why they play it when they're older and everything. But it's because now I've got like a place to go to and a place to play it at and everything, and I try and play as a game weekly. So, and then I just compared it to, so this is what it's like playing golf when you're a grown up at a certain age.
I mean, it's kind of all that geek culture, though. Probably since Big Bang has kind of really brought it into cool. Because the guys in Big Bang would have been
Well, it was always cool. I think the term is basically popular. I mean,
yeah,
you know, you don't really have to base yourself as a geek or thing. I mean, if you just play video games for recreation, I think about it. If you play video games, but you mostly play like the FIFA games or other sports games, are you a geek or are you still like the jock and everything? So it depends. But at the end of the day, whatever platform works, and if it gets you interested, absolutely. So even if you've never listened to Metallica or played a D&D game or whatever you like, but you're a huge fan of the, you know, Stranger Things show and it gets you or your kids into it, I say, why not?
yeah. It's like the whole like slamming the fans who've got into Metallica through the show. I'm like, didn't you all have a first time experience of listening to that track or whatever? It was probably a very uncool experience of having just somebody's brother show you something. It wasn't.
Yeah,
You probably didn't have your first experience at a Metallica gig. Like, so to me, it was like it's just cool. Like it's just got a whole bunch of new people into something I've loved for them.
mm.
So it's like it's brilliant.
I mean, think about it. In the early, well, if we're going back our age, if where we grew up in the late '80s or early '90s, a lot of the bands we probably got into didn't start out to like the '70s, like Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, or the early eight. So we just hopped on the train.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, so and with people getting into possibly Metallica now, they've just hopped on the train with us. We weren't there from the beginning either.
Just I'm just old and bald now, but like yeah, it's like well, I suppose like all the kind of trending bands now, they've all been influenced by them. I went to watch Metallica when I was about 12, 13, I think it was the first time. But they were born. Well, they were born the year I was born, so it's like in '81. It's like you know pretty.
Yeah. So you grew up with them.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's just my entire kind of existence is that. But then your likes of Zeppelin and Floyd and all these kind of other bands, kind of they were inherited from
Bowie.
oh, Bowie, the boy. I love Bowie. But then my first experience of Bowie wasn't cool though. It was some space project at school. And I remember going back to my parents and I heard this today, and it was like Space Oddity or whatever. So
Mm.
watch Labyrinth and do all the usual kind of 80s stuff through, and then like the actual really rebellious cool Bowie you didn't kind of get till you were later teens anyway. So like a lot of it was lost, you know. Excuse me, my internet's been a bit dodgy. Is yours all right?
No, mine's fine. You know, I'm pretty good. I can hear you fine and see you fine,
You're just going a bit weird
and
then.
the fridge.
Oh, my big fridge. Yeah. It's probably the only place where there's no clutter.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Bowie, actually, you did a recent piece I was extremely like in awe of, and it was like mixture of three pieces all put into one, and that was the so you had Luke Skywalker in his Red 5, you know, X-wing gear. You had Rebel in the classic David Bowie, you know, and of course Rebel lines. And you had Space Invaders on it
Yeah.
as well, and that's, you know, Star Wars, Space Invaders, and Bowie, three things I love.
Yeah.
What gave you that idea to do that piece?
I've kind of just been playing around with, rather than just trying to recreate a piece of iconography, putting my own kind of spin and slant on things, and again, just mashing up stuff that I love. Um, and that just seemed to, those three things melded really well with the era that they were all released. And you know, like using Rebel Alliance, I can use kind of that crossover, and then essentially he's a Space Invader when you're going around shooting. I was like, okay, I have vivid memories of playing that from on arcade and Atari as a little kid. I was like, I wonder how that'll work, because you've also got three very iconic and completely polarizing in some ways, and how do they fit together? You know, and there's going to be some people that wouldn't want to see that stuff mixed because Star Wars should be Star Wars and Bowie should be Bowie, etc. But I was like, no, I'm going to have a play, and mix a bit of graffiti in there and street art style, but still kind of keep everything as recognisable as their individual pieces as well. It was like a lot of fun to do. Like it was challenging. Like, using old iconography, not always the images are. You can't zoom into super quality, so there's a lot of kind of squinty distance painting trying to get it to look the same, if that makes sense. So even
Yeah,
like a lot of the 4K stuff, it's okay, but there's something again lost in that. So you look at older images. I painted a Rocky piece, and it was a 4K image that I'd use as a reference image, but you'd zoom in, and what on the image looks like a mouth, and it's all perfect. You zoom in to see any detail, it's essentially just a squiggle, and it's like, oh, okay, that's okay, but on a meter square canvas, that squiggle is now that big and it looks really sketchy. So you kind of trying to find that balance of does it's still got to look like that original image, rather than the super crisp, you know, George Lucas edition, or does it look like Luke Skywalker? So
yeah.
bit of a challenge, but like I'm really pleased with that piece. To be honest, it hasn't got to.
I love it. It was like one. It was just like looking at one of my shirts I usually wear. You know, where my almost it was like, and what I love mixing. You know, it's like it was. Oh, it's really hard to put into words because I was just so in, like you said, in awe of it, because it's three different types of art, but just blended, but just how it makes this free piece. And you know, it's like basically if you're wearing a nice three piece suit, or you're eating a sandwich with three flavors or whatever. It's just there's just something good about it.
I think it's the connection point as well. So like, well, I've talked a lot about nostalgia and this business, and there is just there's kind of a powerful connection there to that. If you've connected to Star Wars or Street Fighter or whatever it is, and it's where you spent the kind of happy slice of, I suppose, where there was no responsibilities and there's all this.
Yeah.
It's a rose tinted view, but like now you kind of. I went to what's the arcade NQ64. Have you got one in Cardiff?
Yeah, I go there. Yeah, I got one in Cardiff. I love it.
Yeah, we got one in Brum, and I'd not been, and I was like, I think I've seen you post. I was like, oh, I need to find this thing. And oh my
Yeah,
god,
there's one in Birmingham. I need to. I want to visit Birmingham for the day, though. I'd love. I want to. I want to come up to Birmingham. I've been to all other places in Midlands and things, and I've been to the Neck, but I really want to come to Birmingham.
when if you do, let us know. We'll go
I'll
up
let you know.
because Digby's really cool. That where that arcade is. So I mean, on that day, it's all in fact where they shot Ready Player One. So anything that's real world in Ready Player One was shot around that area, so around Digbeth. And sadly, they didn't do anything to it to make it look dystopian. Like it looks a bit rough. But they've turned all these old industrial things into these just really cool diners and like bars and just
Yeah,
it's properly cool. And then you've got obviously all the kind of arty stuff there.
the paint.
Like there's loads.
Yeah, you should see the one in Cardiff. I mean, the paint just glows, but the way they've painted it inside, how it just looks amazing. And they have this massive. They've got a lot of things on the wall, but the one that stands out for me is the massive, which I show on my other profile, is the Blanca. They have this massive Blanca piece, and it's brilliant. They've also got a Samus, and there are these 4 diner booths where people can just sit on the table, and it's got all the Monstars from Space Jam.
Wow, that is cool. We were in there like an hour maybe, and I spent most of it just ragging around the games and just like finding Guitar Hero and just thinking, okay, we're gonna play this. I hadn't played the arcade version of Mortal Kombat, I think, since it came out, so I was like confused with the extra buttons. I don't remember a block button.
Yeah,
I was getting absolutely smashed and it was ridiculous. But it was a lot of fun, and the cocktails there are amazing as well.
oh yeah, and do they have consoles in there as well, not just yeah, I do like playing the arcade games, but it's nice to just sit down and have a go at the emulated consoles as well.
It was proper cool, but we went. There was also there's a thing called the Mockingbird Cinema, and so it's proper cool place, and only got a couple of screens, but you can go on a Friday night and do like you don't know what they're going to show. You just rock up and it's like a cult film night. So I'd been in this game thing for an hour and then watching this, and it was like, man, this is good times. But it's a bit of a risk with the film, I suppose. It's free, so you can always leave. But great fun. But yeah, I need to go up and see if I can hustle some pieces that way. I think because they're quite cool. Get some.
Yeah, yeah, I really got to say. Yeah, speaking of like you said, Star Wars and everything, not counting out the pieces you've got coming up, but roughly how many Star Wars pieces have you done?
Flipping it. Bear with. I did 3, so Princess Leia, R2, and 3PO was kind of a triptych. Massive Han Solo piece.
Yes.
It's like almost like old movie poster style.
Vader.
Vader, Trooper, kind of just the helmet of
Mm.
Finn with the blood on it. What else have we done?
Mandalorian.
A few Mandos. I did quite a few Mando commissions actually. Some went out to Marbella. One went out to Texas, which is cool. So big up Rob. Yeah. So there was. Where else did we do? Done the Sith one, the Sith Trooper, Sex Pistols piece, which is to go with the Luke.
Oh yeah,
The Vader's on aluminium, and he was just using a palette knife. So that was like
the
that was
Sith piece. Yeah.
yeah. The Sith piece has got a few little hidden stuff. Can I have a look? What else we've done? Mando. I think that might be about it. Might be about it. I've done quite a few.
No, but I mean, it's as a fan, to do all this? I mean, I know we've spoken about this before, but just as a fan to paint all this, whether it's commission or non-commission or for work to be hung in a gallery, it just must fill you with this kid inside's dream.
It
You
is,
know,
it is pretty cool. Like,
never expected to ever do Star Wars paintings
not
and
for
get paid for it.
not, not to get paid for it. I remember like probably the first thing I ever drew that was of any. But back then, I remember thinking, "Man, I'm proper pleased with this." I was about, I don't know, 6 or 7, and it went on the wall at school. It was like He-Man riding Battlecat. Like, and now that's what I do. It's like, this is this is quite. I'm basically 7 years old again, really, just having a
Yeah, and what's it like to show, if getting personal, your children when they see this stuff? Do they just get as excited as you are? They're like,
Yeah, so I've got a 9 and a 10-year-old, and my boy particularly, I've cultivated a nerd, a geek who's so into Star Wars and all the Marvel DC stuff. So he gets super like, "Oh, that's the best way of doing that. Can I have that one?" I'm like, "No, mate, sorry. I'll do another one another time." But he gets really like jacked up on stuff like the Alien piece. I'm like, "Mate, I am not showing you Alien, not yet. You're a bit young."
I like that piece.
Yeah, so I think he loves the Luke one and the Darth Darth Maul piece. I mean, he doesn't get the hidden stuff there, but like, thank goodness. But like,
Yet,
yet he will do, I'm sure.
in 10 years.
Yeah, but yeah, it's good. I think that was they're probably his favourites, the most recent stuff. Although he does really like the Batman piece. He's begging to see that as well. Like, not just yet.
Hmm.
A little bit dark
Yeah,
for a 10-year-old.
I know, but it's just I mean, I keep looking at your stuff all the time when I'm just on Instagram, and I'm like, you know, and I cross my fingers like every Wednesday or Saturday, say, if I win the lottery, I've got to choose 3 of his paintings I really want. I'm gonna, I know I could commission one, but I want the ones you've done.
Yes, man. It's like they're seeing them on Instagram is I'm trying to over the next. I've still got a few of them here before they get delivered. Um, it's been a crazy few weeks, to be fair. I want to try and get some video stuff because you really don't get impact on size.
Yeah,
All quite large, so when when you're looking at a meter and half meter square pieces, that color and those they really pop. Whereas you're looking at even on the like things like Instagram, you still look
yeah.
a super small image really. When they're particularly when they're hanging, you're like, yeah, they definitely look a lot different.
Hmm. For video, there's this app which I recommend using. It's really fun. There's so many settings on it. You can like have stuff done in reverse or have stuff there. It's called the Petal app.
Petal.
Petal. It's a really good video editor. It is. I've used it for when I put up videos of stuff I've done, like shout outs. Not, I don't always use Instagram Reel or anything, but the Petal app has been really good. I use that. I've actually used that when I film footage of bands I've seen, particularly the Metal Maidens, and
Yeah,
then I do some editing, and then I send them the Petal app, and whether they use it or not. But it's been a really good app. So if you want to get some videos in, but add some spark or take on it, try the Petal app. It's a really good video editor.
I mean, I've just literally I just use my phone, basic stuff. I haven't used any apps on it yet. No, I have got CapCut on there, but I haven't like messed around with anything yet.
Petal's been the best, and I'm not even I've never even done videographing before, but it's just been one of the best. It can cut videos short, it can change the color or dynamic, but it's just really good. And there's this one thing on there called Auto Create. You can take the music off it, but it kind of makes your work look like a trailer. So if you're doing like or showing several of your paintings, it'll give it like that sort of trailer-esque feel.
Oh, yeah, I'll have a look. At the end of it, just remind me because I'm bound to forget.
Petal.
I'm absolutely useless. But yeah, I need to get some video stuff done because obviously I'm 6'1", so stood next to you, you get an idea of scale. So it just does help, particularly prospective buyers, because they can't picture the size of them on walls and stuff, and they always think, oh, they're going to be too big. They're not. Like a wall will take it. So you go, oh, I haven't got the wall space. Like, you probably have. Like, think of the TV you've got on the wall, or think of this. Like, I've one of my collectors, bless him, he's got like 6 or 7 pieces. I can't remember. He's got a lot. And I've been and I've seen it in his house. And I'm like, it's a little bit weird because it's all like I'm walking through kind of a Mr. J gallery of stuff, but they're big pieces as well. He's not he's committed with that way. And
Well, that's good. He's a fan. He's an art collector, and if he wants your work, it is a very overwhelming feel, but it's very gratifying.
Yeah, bless him. Yeah, he's great. He's been from the beginning as well. He's kind of supported and carried on all the way through. And I was talking quite recently about, I want to commission this piece. I've never commissioned one. I want one that's just for me. I was like, okay, we'll get on it then. we'll work out what you want.
Has anyone commissioned you for Stranger Things pieces yet?
There's been talk of them, and there's been talk just between myself and the gallery about trying to do it, but it's the timing of them. Like,
yeah,
what if I could have had the prediction that Eddie Munson was going to be as my favourite character, it's getting the imagery before.
He's mine.
Like, getting that before it's released, because if you want to time it with the release when it's trending and people are excited about it, they very often don't release images of decent quality unless you're trying to get stills from trailers, and they never work really well. So once now everyone's got pictures of Eddie and it's great, kind of you've missed that trend.
Yeah, but the best image is when he does
all the business.
And imagine surrounding that with like Hellfire Club or various bands or like the cassette, and
I've got ideas for it, and I still have, to be honest. There's one image that I keep playing over, which I think I probably will do anyway. Because I'm guessing that obviously it comes in waves of this. It'll be quiet for a little while, then it'll all hype up again. But season 4 seems to have hit different. Like, it's still, I don't know, 2 or 3 on Netflix is like top 10 or whatever. It's
oh yeah, and then and then Sandman comes along, and then but yeah, season 4. I mean, we don't know what season 5's going to bring, but season 4 is like, you've always in a TV show. I guess you've always got a particular favorite season. Everyone's different, but sometimes in big shows, it's like trying to think of another TV show, for example, where a season was really, really.
I love season Game of Thrones. I thought that was
yeah, Game of Thrones. Yeah, I thought season 2 was kind of, because it was the thing. But then when the White Walker stuff sort of started happening, when they decided to bring more non-human characters, and
the more side of it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who has the Night King tattooed on his leg, I kind of understand, completely. But yeah, Game of Thrones, that's definitely a fine example. Did you ever watch Sons of Anarchy?
I've never watched that. I've got it on my list added, but never watched it.
Or Breaking Bad?
I was late to the game. We've literally just watched. Me and the wife watched it together. Watched all of it in about 3 or 4 weeks, and
because I can understand like season 4 or 5 of Breaking Bad making that, because it's like full circle now. It's like, we're done being nice. We're done. Oh, I've got a family sport. No, I'm going to be a drug kingpin.
I mean, so many shows kind of dropped the ball at the end. Breaking Bad is like, that is spot on. Really.
Yeah. I know Walking Dead has its ups and downs, but when Negan got introduced, I can understand when a big character. I mean, I was familiar with Negan with the books and everything, but I can remember when that character hit, everyone like at Halloween parties got their old leather jacket out and slick their hair back and go, I'm Negan.
Yeah, it was class. Well, I dropped off it, and then that got me back.
Yeah.
Was it Glenn that he absolutely smashes his eyeball though?
Yeah, Glenn and Abraham.
Yeah. But so it took me I kind of got a little bit fed up maybe by the end of three.
I was too. Even though I was familiar with it, I was like, okay, we've had. I was kind of disappointed with the governor
yeah,
because I read the governor in the books and I thought it's sister look, and then I'm looking who they cast and I'm like David Morrissey,
yeah.
and I'm like, he's a good actor and everything, but I just wasn't sold, and I was like, oh, Mill's back, but I just thought it was nice, but it was fun. I liked it, but I didn't like love it, and then when they bring in Negan, I was like, and then I was like, whoa, this is.
There's so much content though, so if something doesn't really hold you now, it kind of just gets lost in noise. Excuse me.
Hmm. Back to Stranger Things, I enjoyed season 3. I mean, part of me wanted to see, I wanted the ice cream shop to be real. I wanted, and then season 4 comes, and I'm like, Eddie Munson.
Eddie Munson. What? I like guy. He's just. Well,
And Halloween hasn't happened yet. How many people are going to dress up as that?
one of my friends, she messaged this morning because she's in New York at the minute, and she's like, I really wanted to like FaceTime me last night, but Dustin is sat at the bar at my hotel. I'm like, you should have FaceTime me. I mean, not that Dustin would have cared less, but I'd like to have waved at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, yeah, it's not very often I think that something like Stranger Things does. It's not just the nerds and geeks and that want to watch it. It is a cultural kind of.
Oh, it's everything. To me, it's like Goonies meets John Carpenter films meets, because of the music. It just reminded me of all those 80s movies and Easter eggs, everything. And what the Duffel brothers have done, that's what they did. Because imagine watching like the Goonies or E.T. and then you watch something like Halloween or, Private, see or The Thing, and you kind of understand, oh, it gave me a very John Carpenter Goonies-like feel when I first started watching it from season 1.
Yeah, it's like Spielberg and Stephen King and just
David Fincher.
like I was just enamored from straight away. And it's definitely episode 3 when again when Peter Gabriel sings Bowie, and I thought, oh my days.
Yeah, that was that was good. And then season 2 with the whole Ghostbusters thing, and then I found that really weird because now Finn Wolfhard is literally a Ghostbuster.
It is odd.
Paradox.
Life imitating art, and
Yeah, and I think that show. I mean, I've watched a lot of TV shows, live action, I loved and everything, but it's literally raised the bar for me. It's even become the favorite.
yeah, I reckon so. So we were on holiday when I watched it, and me and the wife just watched it over a couple of nights. And it was just for her to be really into it because she's not into the kind of geeky side of things really. So she'll watch stuff with me, bless her. But generally, it's like some Netflix twisty thriller we'll watch. But the geek side of things, I've tried to get her to watch Umbrella Academy, and then we've kind of been dipped in and out. But Stranger Things is one that like.
Does she watch Bridgerton?
She hasn't actually. I mean, I'm sure she wants to. Further story.
No, it's just, but yeah, my wife actually got me into Stranger Things. I saw the trailer and I was like, but I was kind of watching other stuff at the time and everything, and I was like, oh, I'll get to it later. But she was like, no, you really got to watch this now. And I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, why didn't I get on this sooner?
I remember watching the first trailers for it and was just thinking, like, this is going to be something. And chatting then, like, this is going to be epic. This is, and then it kind of obviously starts out quite quaint, really.
Yeah, I couldn't really take the trailer in because I was like, oh, Winona Ryder's back on television. Because that's all I was getting from it. It's like, oh, Winona Ryder, she's back on television again. Because I haven't seen her in like.
No, she's no longer. No longer the shoplifter. She's back in.
Yeah. Oh no, I was like, Lydia's back.
Bless her. Beetlejuice. But yeah, so it took me a while. Like just maybe the first 2. I was like, this is cool. This is okay. He's just riffing on Spielberg shots of this. It was referential, but I did really like it. But then it's properly found its stride, and I think season 4 was just it's
season 4 to me, it was like it took elements back from the first season, but also kind of incorporating season 3. It was like, I mean, I don't want to spoil too much for anyone that hasn't seen the show or anything, you know. But I could definitely tell there were moments from season 1 they just definitely wanted to like go back and sort of put in season
it's
4.
it's very much a mirror as well. Like it's really clever storytelling. You've got storylines that just mirror each other and kind of track. So every time Eleven's in trouble, like so is Hop, and it's kind of connect stories is just really really good. It's kind of had that. It's had a Star Wars thing where every time they've done a season, that kind of gave you extra things to focus on. So like
And new characters.
oh okay, and then you cut into the end. It's had a real like Jedi vibe about it, where it's cut in between.
Yeah.
But it
Well,
didn't feel overcrowded. It was like just
Munson gave me the Lando Calrissian vibe.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you watched New Hope. That was great. You get all these cool characters and everything. And this is when, and and then in the next, okay, same characters. Okay, you got thing, and then you introduce this whole new character, and this character just makes this big screen presence, all suave and cool and everything. And then and I don't know. That's what kind of Eddie did it for me. It was like, who's this character? It was very. I mean, obviously it's alright, but it was like, that's so, I don't know, it kind of felt like that's what Lando is, or that's what Boba Fett is and everything, you know, so.
Probably the only TV show that's done that repeatedly as well. Like every time they bring somebody in, you do invest into a new character, and generally when...
Unless it's Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, yeah. Generally, like, I go back to my favourite people, like, rather than, I'm not bothered about you, let's talk about the original 4 or whatever. But
yeah.
Even like Billy, who was like, an absolute git, I still really liked him. Like I'm just enamored.
Oh, you can like the bat. Yeah, I thought big thing for me. I thought Robin was pretty cool because she was this, just this thing, sarcastic, funny, and then you kind of see her do a bit more of her element, in the next season. But I just thought this guy. But what I liked about season 3, throughout the entire season, you don't see Robin or Steve change outfits at all. They are literally ice cream sailors throughout the Scoops Ahoy throughout the whole season. And then next season, you just see them as themselves. And I'm like, wow, okay. But it was kind of cool not to see them in anything else.
Yeah. Well, the whole mall thing, yeah, it was basically like that. I mean, did you go to the experience, the Stranger Things?
No, unfortunately, no. I couldn't at the time. But we've all been in shopping malls or shopping centres, and we've all been to the food court and everything. But to see that as like finally bring that into because the show is set in the 80s, and they like to really boom out what.
Oh yeah, like super trend, isn't it? Like just the kind of Cineplex things and the way it was all like. Pizza Huts and stuff. I remember being a kid and Pizza Hut was like a big deal. If you went to somewhere like something like always that one.
And the Back to the Future scene was pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too shabby. It was awesome.
It is. It just made me want to watch the movie straight afterwards. I watched that episode.
Yeah, that. To be honest, I'm going through working through the 80s stuff with my kids. So I'm like, we recently do these Back to the Future trilogy. What else we've done?
Still the greatest movie of 1985. I will be debated on that, but I think still the greatest movie of 1985.
I think it might be the most perfect trilogy. Like,
I love it. I remember me and my wife, this was 2015 when it was celebrating its 30th anniversary. Cinema was showing the entire trilogy of it with toilet breaks, but and it was just like, this is why I love that movie. But yeah, I mean, the trilogy is not flawed. It's each story is different but still has that entertaining spectacle.
Yeah, I love it. The whole thing. I mean, I watched them.
And the music.
I think I watched them 1, 3, and 2. I certainly didn't watch it in the correct order as a little kid. It was just whatever was on TV.
I think I watched 3 the most as a kid because it was cowboys and, it was cowboys, and I saw it more as a Western than a science fiction thing. I don't think I was paying too much attention to to the science fiction stuff. At the time, I was probably too busy paying attention to the. Oh, there we go.
Fixed.
Yeah. Oh, it happens, Carry on.
I can't remember what I'm saying.
I think I just mentioned that used to see number. I just used to watch number three a lot back then because I just saw it as a cowboy movie, and then when you're older, you kind of thing. But
Oh yeah,
and
I was
then
in stuff as well, and like I was really into things like Young Guns as a kid as well. Like I just
love that film.
was always on Tombstone, all that kind of business. So yeah, I was probably what I was really
I'm
into.
your Huckleberry. Yeah, I think.
Well, what about Maverick? Did you watch Maverick?
Yeah, I watched. You know what? I wasn't a big Top Gun fan. Like I've watched the movie because and thing. Like I said, I liked the movie, but I wasn't like a big Top Gun fan. And everything. I don't know why. It just if it was on the telly, I would watch it, but it wouldn't be like one I would rent from Blockbuster or something. But she wanted to go and see it, and I watched it, and I was like, wow, this is, I mean, I've seen, military movies or movies with planes in before, and I was like,
It
it
is.
was really, it wasn't a Tom Cruise, the Hollywood star movie. That's one thing I quite liked. When I watch certain movies with him, I like to watch him as the actor, not the superstar.
Yeah,
And watching Maverick, he was the actor.
I know plenty of people, and my wife included. She's like, she struggles to separate the Tom Cruise to what she's watching. But watching that on the big screen, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, it was also one of those films I would never expect that would get a sequel.
no, 35 years or something. I'm not sure.
For about 37 years or something. Yeah, and it was one of those films I never expected. And because he was so busy doing Mission Impossible 25 or something. And I just was like, but I watched it and I was like, damn, this is really good.
Yeah, it's great. It is. And again, kind of it's a better film than the original.
I'll have to go back and watch the original again. I mean, the thing about Top Gun is, yeah, it's okay. Okay, Pete Maverick Mitchell is the main guy, but I've always saw it as an ensemble piece.
Yeah.
It's like this one, it's more of an ensemble, it's quite ensemble rather than leading person.
Whereas if you look at like legacy sequels, I mean, like the interest about like just the Top Gun piece that I'm painting in a minute, it's insane. Like,
Oh, you're doing Top Gun. Nice.
yeah, well, I've teased a little bit. It's still work in progress, but I've been on holiday for a week, so I've just literally got back the weekend, so I'm back on it again. But the amount of private messages about, oh, when's this hitting the gallery? When's this dropping?
Oh, I
And
bet that can be annoying. I mean, it's nice that you have such, but, what about the old saying, it'll be done when it's done?
I mean, I am going as well. Like, this one's not messy. It's super clean, super high detail, and just as the pure icon, like just the helmet and the kind of gas kind of breathing.
No spoilers.
Um, but that's it. It's like no, we'll talk about that later on. But I have shared this with because it's probably the last piece I'm doing that's for a while that's just
Solid.
solid. I can do this. The Luke piece was kind of the start of a little bit of an experiment, which I kind of really like. The current collection, I'm obviously I can't say too much about because we've been having some little issues with people copying pieces, and um,
Don't be a copycat. Come on. Don't be a copycat. This guy works really hard on his paintings. You want to, don't be a copy. Have some, if you want to do a stormtrooper, do it, but put your own idea to it. Okay, if you're inspired by this guy, fine, but don't be a plagiarist.
yeah, there's been. I mean,
Piss off.
it's fine because we're all kind of um, viewers of it. We're all consumers of the stuff. So I've been happily inspired by artists and think, oh man, that's a class piece. I've had some bad timings where I've done a piece and I'm thinking, oh, and somebody who's more established has it's been the same image. We're painted differently, but it's like, oh, flipping heck. Like, so yours gets lost in the kind of by the wayside. But there's been a couple of cases which are interesting to say the least. So like but I kind of really want to talk about it because I'm really excited about it because it's not just iconography; it's a proper concept. And I'm thinking, this could be. It's got legs. It's like it's cool, and
Yeah,
I can't speak about it. I'm like, So
I know.
just getting on with planning it at the minute. So I'll plan everything digitally anyway, just so I can kind of work out kind of sequencing and compositions and like what pieces will work as possibly diptychs, triptychs, and what's going to work as a kind of, could it be a whole collection? Could it be a gallery full? And right now kind of heads spinning of like ideas for it, but just in the kind of planning stage. So everything's kind of just digital mock-ups at the minute using Procreate.
Speaking of Top Guns and helmets, that was one thing I did like about the movies, which was the helmets they wear and with their own call sign and decoration. How would you decorate your helmet, and what would your call sign be?
I'd probably just wear Luke's red flag and be done with that. I don't think I could ever do anything else. I'd just be that looking rebel. I think that.
Yeah, Rebel, call sign Rebel. Me, it's be my nickname, so I'd be Misfit.
What's that? Sorry.
Misfit, that would be my call sign. So it would be like the helmet would be. I'd love to give it a half and half feel. So one side would be white, the other side would have been black. Provide whatever the military allows, and it's got like a little skull on, and then in like newspaper punk writing, it says Misfit. So like in newspaper clippings.
I just like to turn up to in whatever the F Tomcat thing is, just wearing a Luke Skywalker. Like, take me in the plane.
Hey, speak to the RAF. See if they'll let you fly in a plane and get yourself make yourself a Rebel Alliance helmet and just put it on for the picture and then put the real helmet.
One of my collectors, she worked with Tom Cruise on on Top Gun. She went to the premiere. She was like, she's some kind. I don't know what she does for. I do, but I forget. I'm rubbish. I must apologise. So she kind of liaises with all the actors when they're some PR role, I think maybe, but she's certainly heavily involved and has been there on sets for Mission Impossible. And she was telling me all about this Top Gun piece, and she commissioned a piece, the Top Gun one, maybe 12 months ago, in honour of her late dad. And we had his call sign stuck on the plane.
Oh, that's amazing.
Just little nods and winks to like, because he was a pilot for his entire career. She got into the military, and it was just like this cool little tribute to her dad. But that was like maybe after the first delay of the film, I want to say, because it was certainly a long time ago. I messaged her and going like, please tell me you got to the premiere. She's like, yeah, and it was cool. I was, excuse me, I'm sat on a really uncomfortable stool. Yeah, so that piece, it was just the old plane and the new planes, kind of. So it was like her history and kind of where she's going now with her career. It's on the Instagram, but it was. I've not done one like it before because it was really. It was a full picture of Tom Cruise leaning on this thing, but it's quite a small painting, so it's like everything else was like his head would be the size of a normal eye on one of my usual paintings. So like, get the glasses on and get really get really fine detail and stuff. But she's cool. She also bought a Wonder Woman piece because I think that's her nickname in the military because it's all male dominated team that she's in. So she's got this kind of.
She should have called herself Danvers.
She should have. Oh man, I'll have a word with her.
No, Wonder Woman's cool. Well, I don't know if that project's been scrapped or something, but the Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins was going to do a Star Wars film about
the Rogue Squadron thing, wasn't it?
The Rogue Squadron. I don't know if that's still going or has been scrapped, but I was quite excited for that film because she was talking about how her father was in the Air Force and everything, and I was like, is this basically going to be the Top Gun version of Star Wars? And I was like, I really want it. So I don't know if it's scrapped or not, but that's definitely a movie I would like to have seen.
I know they were quite far into pre. I remember seeing some little teaser when she's on the back of that thing. She's all in flight gear and she gets up and then she goes towards you. So they've got an X-wing. Did you see that?
Yeah, and she's rollerblading.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, it's bizarre, but like, it should have been made. Whether or not it'll come back. So I know they just scrapped it.
I think it will. I mean, think about it. They scrapped the Boba Fett and the Kenobi movie ideas, and then they brought them back as series. But so if it doesn't make it as a movie, it might make it as a good D+ series. But you never know. But I've got hope for that show. Rebellions are built on hope.
Yeah, I'm desperate to wait for Andor now. That looks.
Yes, and I'm very excited to see that. But I'm very happy that Stellan Skarsgård is in it. I love that actor. I loved him as Dr. Selvig. And I loved him in Good Will Hunting, but to see him in Star Wars is going to be really cool.
It looks. I mean, I loved Obi-Wan and Mando and stuff. Like, really loved them. But this looks like a film because it's all shot on locations. It doesn't look heavily set based.
Oh, you're right.
You back on?
It happens. It happens.
We've had no internet all day, so I was a little bit worried. Oh,
yeah. But plus, looking at the time, we've only got a few minutes left till the video stops.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely have you. Well, I want you on again. I mean, I've had 20 episodes since you last been on.
I was gonna say it's building some momentum. Looking cool.
Yeah, you were my first, which I'm still happy about. I mean, there I was starting this out, and you were on here, and now look how far I've gone. So and to have you back, it's a shame it didn't go as planned because it would. But once we rearrange it, I'll have you back on with Paul, and then we can talk about commissions, the best, the worst, the most surprised, everything. But God, it's just been good. It's been good to catch up and just go off topic and talk about stuff. Actually,
we love it, isn't it? So like, I'm indebted to the stuff. So movies, music, comic book.
Yeah, that's us.
That's it. It's like
that's us, and just you putting your own take on, the painting. It's like giving back. It's like saying thanks in a way as well.
I mean, one of probably the best things about it is so you kind of escape into your own little geeky world, paint some stuff.
Yes.
Tons of fun, mad frustration, the kind of creative cycle of thinking. You can go from I think I might be a genius to I'm an absolute dick within about a 5-minute period quite often, and you genuinely think, so you get lost in this cycle,
lost in space.
And then you get to the gallery, put the stuff up, and it can be well received, and you go, okay, great. But then when somebody connects with it, and drops thousands of pounds on a piece that you've wrestled with, and they love it, and that's a strange experience, like to watch them connect to
It's
something.
your work now. I mean, it's gone from an idea, gone to a passion, gone to a work. I mean, which you probably never would have expected. And here
No,
you are. I mean, think about it. You sell a painting, like a Boba Fett painting, for example. You can buy yourself a Boba Fett helmet.
I can just buy some more toys.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is crazy. There's been some good times. Like we've met some wicked people, and a lot of the collectors now they've kind of become friends, messaging about when are you coming down to this, when's this happening, um, are you thinking of doing these things, and just meet up and have a beer with them, and they're just cool people.
I'll take you up on that when I go to Birmingham.
If you need to, we'll do Digbert.
NQ64 Birmingham.
I'm on.
A slot. That'll be yeah, that's definitely on the cards. NQ64 Birmingham.
It is a very, very cool place.
It is. I mean, I go up to Nottingham now and again, so but gotta have a Birmingham. And I don't just want to go over for the day. I'm gonna definitely find a good hotel and stay for a couple of days.
I just wanted to say as well, just a quick thank you, because I know we'll be going soon, but I've had pieces as they've moved house or I've had them. Just like it really helps to kind of for other people thinking of buying stuff as well, and just it's lovely to see them when they've left this home and then they're on their.
Oh, I mean, of course, absolutely. Thank you. That's thank you is one of the nicest things and the best things you can ever say when someone's done something good for you, whether they've bought something off you or whether they've held the door for you or whether they've it's a beautiful set of two words, and it just fills that. That's all you can say. Thank you.
Oh, obviously, just as an emerging artist, it's like these people probably have no idea how much they've helped, and how much they've kind of set me off on a journey that's like I never expected to happen, and it's just massive gratitude, and like so I'm hustling and working my ass off to make it worthwhile for them as well. So these pieces will hopefully increase, and um, you know, it won't just be a nice thing they've got on their wall. And at the moment,
I'm just very grateful I can show your work as well and give you shout outs now and again, because that I do that for all my guests. Like you said, whether they're into art, they're in a band, they're doing this or that, and I'll always have them back on. But I'm going to definitely have you back on, whether it's lovely chit chat or whether it's talking about stuff. But thanks for coming back, Paul. Jay.
yeah. I need to. Go on.
Thank you for coming back, Jay.
You're welcome, mate. Thank you for having me, and yeah, look forward to next time.
Cool. Viewers, check out his work. That is art by Mr. J. If you love all the stuff we've mentioned, ask for a painting.
Please do.
Take care, dude. See you soon.
Take care. Bye.
Good night, everyone.